Some massive developments in the Cody Rhodes WrestleMania 40 journey, plus some major drama with WWE, AEW, and Stardom. We're going to talk about it all right here on the Ango Show. Yes. Welcome back to TAS. Don't forget, we got a giveaway at 100,000 subscribers. If you're interested for a chance to win, you should probably click subscribe today. Let's kick things off with some Stardom news. Rossi Ogawa. Some very interesting news during NXT Vengeance Day last night. It was reported that the founder of Stardom, based out in Japan, he is gone from the company. What's really interesting is that Bushiroad, the company that owns New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom, effectively put out a release. They have recently become aware that Mr. Rossi Ogawa has been poaching a number of Stardom athletes and staff members, and we have decided to terminate this agreement. What was interesting is that WWE aired a vignette on Vengeance Day, and it was about a character that has three faces, which is something that is typically said in Japan, which I found to be very interesting. A lot of people are assuming that it's Okada. I believe Tony Khan has secured Okada, so I'm going to go forward and say that I believe that it is Julia, which would make sense with all the timing of these tweets, because Tony Khan put out a tweet of a GIF. It's a clear case of industrial espionage. He also put out a tweet saying, bye, Rossi. There is this huge belief as well that a lot of Stardom talent, their contracts are out in March, and they're going to be leaving the company as well. This is actually a massive breaking story. If you're not a fan of Stardom, this is important because Stardom has produced tons of incredible athletes. The only thing I'm really confused about is WWE has brought in Kairi Sane, and WWE has been rumored to bring in Julia. If anything, where is this whole thing coming from? That's the big question mark here. If he's poaching talents to leave the company and staff members, where exactly are they going? Apparently, Bushiroad has known about this for a while. And yeah, this is, I mean, it's really, really crazy. Honestly, it's really crazy stuff. Tony Khan didn't waste any time. He wanted to take his shots without directly naming WWE. That's what he did. But it always made me intrigued because there was reports that AEW is not interested in Julia, nor were they talking to her. Maybe Tony Khan and AEW knew of what was going on here and they didn't want to get involved. I don't know. But very interesting stuff. He's leaving the company. There was also some rumors that he could be going to WWE. I don't know in what capacity. Don't know if there's any truth to that. And it doesn't sound like there is. But who knows? A lot of people in Stardom aren't happy, though. And many of them do plan on leaving the company. So I'll keep you guys updated in regards to that. I want to turn our attention to Forbidden Door 2 or 3. Is it 3 or 4? I don't know. Forbidden Door. Seems like there's a lot of Forbidden Door stuff happening in wrestling today. Dave Meltzer was talking about CMLL talent being on the upcoming card for AEW Forbidden Door. It is AEW Forbidden Door 3, by the way. But yeah, Dave Meltzer confirms that this is something absolutely being talked about. It makes a lot of sense because on AEW programming as of late, CMLL talent have been on the show. They're running a pretty big angle with BCC. Personally speaking, I think that's what Forbidden Door should be. I've said this several times since the first one. It shouldn't just be two companies. It should be a whole bunch of companies working together, putting on exciting dream matches that can't happen. And you got to factor in, right? Like if Okada's leaving New Japan but going to AEW, Forbidden Door, you know, they lost Jay White, they lost Okada. Like at some point, New Japan isn't going to have tons of top worthy stars to share this pay-per-view, right? So if I was AEW, and it looks like they're headed down this direction, but I would actually do Forbidden Door being based on 4 promotions. I would actually have Impact involved as well, if that's an option. I know TNA and WWE are kind of working together, sort of, but The original All In was multiple companies working together. That was the original All In. Now, I get it for AEW's sake. It's their stadium show at Wembley. Maybe they don't want to share the spotlight with other promotions there. As much as I don't like it, I get it, right? But if you have a whole pay-per-view dedicated to the Forbidden Door, I would strongly suggest having 4 promotions. You have CMLL, you have TNA, you have New Japan, you have AEW. Here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. There is tons of politics because of CMLL and AAA. And that's where this becomes very, very difficult and very difficult and very, very difficult, because politics and backstage stuff could obviously prevent that from happening. Keep in mind, TNA just signed an actual partnership with AAA. But I feel like if you're AEW, you could actually be the mediator, create peace within all of these companies. That would be the right thing to do. That would be the best thing that can happen. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but if Tony Khan can miraculously make that happen, that would be great. You have a pay-per-view where all 4 world champions are fatal 4-way. You know, you do so much. There's just so much you can do, man. And that would be great. I think CMLL on AEW programming already as it is pretty much a spoiler for what is to come, which I think is a good thing for AEW. And that brings us to Cody Rhodes versus The Rock. Obviously, a lot of talk. We want Cody trending all weekend. This is funny because if we're going based off the words of Dave Meltzer noted that WWE was expecting Cody Rhodes to turn into Daniel Bryan in 2014 when all the fans rallied behind him and made him a bigger star coming out of SmackDown. The plan as of Friday night was Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, and we'll see how it plays out because now they're trying to turn it into a story and see how the storyline goes. I can't tell you what they didn't tell anybody about plans changing, but certainly they didn't tell many people or almost anyone. They could be working everybody. Honestly, this could be a giant work. WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, that's the right decision in my opinion. If WWE was doing this to prolong the story, whatever it may be, that's completely fine. Honest to God, if that's what they wanted to do, they could have done it to prolong the story. But I said this in my live stream, you shouldn't have had Cody win the Rumble. And it looks like they knew that Cody was going to win the Rumble, even at the same time that they knew The Rock was coming back and getting the main event. So to me, this has to be a giant work. How they go about this and how they fix this or how they do this, I don't know. The execution will be incredibly important because I feel like this was just a dumb decision. I said it in my live stream, but it looks like there actually is a deeper plan for this. And that makes me wonder. I've seen a lot of theories. We talked about this on the live stream as well, that just maybe WWE could be planning something for Cody Rhodes in Madison Square Garden. That could be a really interesting part of the story. I don't know. But to me, it seems like this was all a giant work, and it's actually been planned for a while. Now, how do they finish the rest of it? The ball is in their court.